I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on providing solutions to your questions. Let me thank all the viewers and subscribers for sharing their questions and making this channel a very useful one. Now, this question comes from one of our subscribers who wants to understand the solutions of this test paper, which is based on area under the curve, discrete random variables, and logarithms. Now here we have to solve all the questions calculator free, without calculator. Correct? So let me write down my email address, which is anil dot anil, let me write down here, anilkhandelwal at gmail.com. So if you have any questions or difficulties, you can always email me to this address. I will be there to look into your questions and provide some suggestions. So these questions are, it seems, from Trinity College. Let us see how to solve these questions one by one. There are 4 questions on these topics, correct? So let's begin with the one related to random variables. Question number 1, which states that the table below describes the probability distribution for a discrete random variable x. So that's the table for you. For x equals to 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9, probability is given as, for random variable x, 0.2, a, b, 0.5, and 0.15. Question is, determine the value of a and b if probability of x less than equal to 5 is 0.3. Good. So how do we solve this? So first thing very clear is that the sum of these probabilities should be equal to 1, right? As these are the events and we are given probability of each and every possible event. So we get one equation which is 0.2 plus a plus b plus 0.5 plus 0.15 should be equal to 1, correct? So we get one condition. So when you do this addition, you get what? You get a plus b plus how much? 0.5 plus 0.2 is 0.7, and then you get 0.85. 0.85 equals to 1, and we get a plus b equals to 1 minus 0.85. So we have a plus b as equal to 0.15, correct? So we get one equation which is kind of like this. Now, how do we get another equation? We are given this condition that the probability for the random variable x to be less than equal to 5 is 0.3. That is to say, this probability, right? This is 0.3. Correct? So, when we know that this probability is 0.3, then that means if I'm going to add these two, I should get 0.3, right? So from here, we have the information that 0.2 plus a should be equal to 0.3, right? So we can find the value of a. So a is equal to 0.3 minus 0.2, which is 0.1. Now we know what a is. To find b, we'll substitute this value in equation number 1. So we get the value for b, right? So we can write here b as equal to 0.15 minus a, which is 0.15 minus 0.1, 0.1, and that gives me the value of b as, let me write 0.05. Is that clear? So we get both values of a and b. We can say a is equal to 0.1 and b is equal to 0.05. Is that clear to you? So that is how we are going to solve this particular question. Now here is question number 2. The following regular octagon is used as a spinner. Determine in the form of a table the probability distribution table. We are given different values of x and we need to find probability for x being 1, 2, 3 or 4. Now since it is octagonal, we'll assume this to be probability as a factor of 8, right? So 1 out of 8 for 1, right? So that is the probability. In case of 2, we have 2 8s, correct? So that will be 2 out of 8. For 3, we have actually 1, 2 and 3. So the probability will be 3 out of 8. And for 4, we have 2, right? So we have this as 2 over 8, which is same as 1/4. So that becomes the probability distribution table. Part B is determine the mean. Now for mean, we also use the term expectation or expected value, right? So alternate is expectation or expected value. Correct? Now to find mean, let us find the product of these. What is the value, right? So the product xi and the probability xi, let's calculate this first. And then the mean of that will give us the total of this will give us the mean, right? So let me extend this table here to provide solution for part B. So when you multiply 1 by 1/8, you get 1 over 8. 2 by 2/8, you get 4 over 8. 3 by 3/8, we get 9 over 8. Here 4 by, you could use 1, or 4 times 2, 8. You could write 8 over 8 for the time being. Now to find the mean, it is basically the sum of all this, right? Sum xi, probability of each random variable here. So it is actually 1/8 plus 4 over 8 plus 9 over 8 plus 8 over 8. So that is equal to 8. 5 plus 8 is 14 plus 9 and plus 8 is 22, right? So dividing 22 by 8, 8 times 4 is 16, right? So 8 times 4 is 16. So we are left with 62. So 8 times 7 is 56. 56 and then we have 40. So 8 times 2 I have to write. 8 times 2 is 16. And so 7 and 5, right? So we get 2.75 as our answer. So the mean is equals to 2.75, correct? So that is how we're going to find the mean. Now let's look into third question, which is, now in this case, determine P and N for X. Now this is binomial distribution, where N is the number of trial and P is a favorable probability, correct? Where sigma x is equal to square root of 8 standard deviation, that means, and the mean is given to us as 12. Now for binomial distribution, the formula for mean is square root of, let's write down the formula so that we can easily solve this particular question, correct? So what we know is that NP, let's use the space, okay. So NP is basically equal to 12, which is the mean, right? So NP is the mean for a binomial distribution. This is binomial distribution. So we are given this NP is basically mean, which is given to us as 12, right? That becomes one equation for us. The second equation is the standard deviation, which is equal to square root of 8. So that means square root of NPQ is square root of 8, correct? Now from here, as you can see, we can actually solve for both N and P. Since we have two equations, so we have NPQ equals to 8, but NP is 12. So replacing NP with 12, we can write 12Q equals to 8. And from here, we can solve for Q, which is 8 over 12 dividing by 4. We get 2 over 3, correct? So that's the value of Q. So that is not favorable, or the probability for failure. For success, the probability P will be 1 minus Q. So that should be 1 minus 2 over 3, which is 1 over 3, correct? So we get our solution, and that is P is equal to 1 over 3, and N is equal to, we didn't find N. Okay, so we'll get back to our first equation, which is now N times P, which is 1 over 3, is 12. So N is equals to 12 times 3, or 36, right? So we get N equals to 36, correct? So basically, let me write this as our equation number 1. This is equation number 2. So first we find the value of P, right? And then here we substitute from 3, right? From 3 we get the value of N, and that becomes our answer. Is that clear to you? So that is how we can answer these 3 questions which are based on random variables, correct? Now in the second part, let's take the solution of logarithms, right? So we'll take that in part 2. So I hope you found the solutions to the random variable questions straightforward. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and look into part 2 and 3 for our solutions to the questions on logarithms and calculus, area under the curve. Thank you, and all the best.